Alright guys, welcome back from those commercials. Thanks for watching. We're just going to hop directly into the game. It's already underway as we continue here for the Battle of the Ladder Heroes. Now I want to remind you all one last time. We put up the money for the show match because we want to help promote what these guys are doing. They're grinding the ladder like crazy. They're playing against one another. There's 8 people really involved with this, but of course it really affects the entire ladder of the European scene. Brings up the overall skill level as there's more people playing and more people competing. So on the off chance he decides to stream some of his matches, guaranteed to see some of these on Sundays at least, as we do plan to have these players stream and grind for all of your entertainment. Spawning here on the northern side of Anai Research Station, it's going to be the imaginary gaming player, the Red Zerg, TargA.
The bottom position as the pink Protoss, Fanatics Harstem.
Of course, sorry, I just had to get his Zubu link. I miss, man, like, I'm glad Mini Racer came back to Twitch after leaving Fnatic, but then, like, you know, he still doesn't stream all that much. I understand there's, like, this whole sponsorship deal, and, you know, StarCraft's not the biggest part of Fnatic that it once was, but I kind of wish they'd be like, alright, Harstem, we'll let you stream on Twitch. Just go for it, man. Just do it.
Yeah. You know what really sucks, though, is everyone, you know, the Pro League VODs are the best, I think, on Azubu. Like, you know, VODs for Twitch aren't that good. The VODs on YouTube usually are a lot later. They don't. They have to actually upload those, of course. But the Azubu ones are always there when I went to go check, and they're always in Korean. Just what I wanted. So that's the only reason I can like Azubu right now.
The problem I have with the players, I know that there's some finicky stuff where if you use ad block, it doesn't really work. So even when I disable ad block, I straight up uninstalled ad block from Chrome, and I still couldn't get their player to work for me sometimes. I'm not sure what it is.
Oh.
But I got nothing against it. I mean, it works for Twitch. To be honest, I spend like 99% of my time on Twitch anyway, so I don't know, whatever. But again, so the thing is, whether you want to watch Harstem on Azubu or you want to watch TargA on Twitch, guys, the point is that we're trying to encourage them. There's a small incentive. Each of these guys paid €50 into the prize pool to try and play and compete in the tournament, but we also want to incentivize them beyond that. You know, get their fan base really motivated to cheer them on. The ladder might not be a big event like an IEM World Championship, but it's really important to their play. It's really important for them practicing, getting prepared for Season 2 of WCS. So I'm dead serious when I say this. If you're a big TargA fan, make sure you tweet at him, give him all the support in the world you can. Same with Harstem and so forth and so forth. The nice thing about this show match we've set up, this group style show match, there's not really any losers to this. Again, it's $50 for playing 2 best of 3s. It's $50 for losing 2 best of 3s if you get knocked out here in the losers match. But again, $125 for first place, $100 for second, $75 for third, and of course $50 for fourth. We're trying to give all these guys some money and reward them for playing so far in the ladder grind.
Okay, so it looks like TargA is doing what he might have wanted to do last game, but realized it didn't have gas. And I know, like, that's like kind of like far-reaching to assume that a player did something incorrectly. But it just, you know, with the drone that was waiting last game, I think he wanted to put that on an Evo chamber and then realized he didn't have gas. This game, he has that gas before the hatchery's even finished, and he got the evolution chamber, so I was getting really fast +1 melee, which is kind of cool to see. He did go rather Ling heavy that last game as well. He had the odd third base and had like 30-40 Lings that tried to attack Harstem's wall, but you know, imagine that with +1. That sentry would have died. The pylon would have died so fast as well. Like if he cleans this up and then counterattacks, it's a much harder counterattack because there's only one ramp, but it's possible.
That Ling just got the scout of a lifetime. It saw all 4 gateways.
And got away.
I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. I mean, like Harstem, he got the 4 gateways then last time, but he didn't really get to do a lot with it, right? It was TargA who had kind of come across the map and the Lings and brought him back home. Yeah,
and I think that one was off of 2 gas. This is the 1 gas version, I think. The last one, that is. But this is definitely very committed. I do love this choice. Like, I don't know how effective it's really going to be, but I would hope so. But I just love seeing Banelings versus Protoss. You see something like light-colored Zealot sentries, like, you go for Banelings. They're gonna do pretty well.
Yeah, I actually we haven't seen a lot of Banelings used in a long time, but I guess if you consider the effectiveness of them, like yes, it's gonna take more to kill itself than kill a Marine, obviously, but I mean your Lings would ultimately die and kill nothing anyways. Zealots are just that damn good, so I kind of really like the idea for some Banelings here. Not to mention if they can't connect to the sentries, that's even better. But even just chewing through the Zealots can go a long way.
Yeah, the only thing that sucks about getting Banelings is that it doesn't go into the mid game. You know, I wish it would. But, you know, roaches are always going to be useful, even if you go into some mutas or swarm hosts. They're going to be something on the ground that you can always use. For banelings, yeah, not so much. Oh my god! Harstem, are you even paying attention?
No, I guess not. A couple of first banelings go off, immediately throws in some panic force fields, but he's got a recall before he loses the sentries. Great moves out of TargA.
And it is lucky this is going to be one force field. Alright, now this is
what?
overgrowth. He could have busted.
You say there's no transition, but what if we see some baneling drops? And I'm not talking on the mineral lines. I'm talking directly on top of those sentries. I get like all nostalgia and happy because it's not going to happen first off, I know. But Snoot did that to Stardust a while back, and it was devastating, quite frankly.
Oh, that is my favorite thing to do ever. I really wish that it was a legit strategy that wasn't gimmicky, but unfortunately it is. And I don't know if TargA's really going to play around with that. Because it's kind of a gimmicky style that can be really all in. There's a lot of banelings that you need, and of course you need to invest in the Overlord drops, which are pretty expensive.
Well, we're going to try and get us around. Still a lot of force fields.
Okay, that drone just chilling. It's going back home now. No worries.
No. He had a unit identity crisis.
Yeah, apparently. Well, we got this layer up for TargA now, and I wonder, since he didn't get a Roach Warren, he didn't need a Roach Warren. Last game, I think he was afraid of like an even bigger gateway follow-up, and he didn't have that upgrade. That he went for roaches, and then, you know, he had to kind of play into roaches with swarm hosts, plus it's overgrowth. But Van Eye, would he try and do something different here? Would he just go for the swarm host again? Because Van Eye is still pretty good for swarm hosts, or might we see mutas?
I would say a light amount of swarm hosts never is a bad move. But yeah, mutas could definitely go a long way on this map. Same though with Roach Hydra or any other composition he goes for. I mean, the map's wide, it's open, there's a lot of great engagement paths for Zerg players to take. And oh, that's kind of sucks for TargA, loses all those lings. Yeah. It's not about even losing the lings because, you know, he won't kill the Nexus, and that sucks that he doesn't kill the Nexus. But he loses that map control he had, that threat of just having the lings on the front lines. But still investing in the lings, still going heavy on the melee upgrades. 36 on the way with eventually +2. Those will tear down buildings like nobody's business.
Oh my god, he is going to go for it. Oh my god, TargA, my new favorite player. Oh my god. I was like waiting. I was like, where's the Hydra Stone? Okay, where's the Spire? Where's Invitation Pit?
So here's why this is so sick. You can do some cool things like baneling drop on top of mineral lines, kill some probes, and that's well and good. What I think the best part about this, though, is because it is so rarely utilized, it is not something anybody really expects. I doubt Harstem is sitting here going like through his checklist of like what to scout for and goes, oh, there's 5 clumped overlords over there. Baneling drops on the way. Like, no, that's just not what's gonna happen. Even if it's not baneling drops, though, just getting some lings to the main could be pretty cool.
Oh yeah, these upgraded lings are gonna be fantastic. And in fact, when he sees that they're double upgraded, he might be thinking maybe fast ultras or infestors are on the way, but definitely not those baneling drops. That's absolutely correct. And because they're dropped, 29. You don't need to invest in a baneling speed.
Well, you know, okay, that's true. But I think for TargA, he was hoping this would be a lot more Zealot Sentry heavy than it is Stalker heavy. He's got to be so careful with those Overlords, because the last thing you want to do is have an Overlord sniped off. Oh, the Phoenix knows what's up.
Now you know. Like, that's just too many banelings underneath the Overlords.
But even so, this is still a powerful amount of banelings to have.
It is the question of what do you do against it.
Yeah. Takes down the pylon, nicely done. I mean, the biggest thing these do is they force the sentries to split, and if you split the sentries, they're not all in range to force field correctly, and the lings suddenly become really effective. It's insane to see Ling Baneling versus Protoss, but truth be told, this isn't horrible the way it's been set up. There's so many freaking Banelings. Force fields will be a pain in the ass to get through, but if you just lift over top of them, who cares?
Now, luckily, Harstem has been a pro gamer for a very long time, and I believe that he did have to play professionally through this era, you know, of baneling drops, basically. It wasn't, you know, entirely like the only thing Zerg ever did, but it was definitely had a time where it was a lot more popular. And one of the things that you can do is you can add in Immortals rather than Colossus. Colossus they go down pretty fast to banelings, where Immortals at least hold through. And you can add a bunch of Sag defense, because they're basically always going to come to you with these drops. And if you have cannons, that's just something to help.
I almost, it's not worth it, right? But I would almost love for him to just drop those near the Nexus at least, so the splash damage goes off on it. It's a really hard engagement to take. I almost wish he had more lings, actually. Force fields go down pretty quick. Looking for a way to use these Overlords. How to use them. There's so many Stalkers to focus fire down that damage. Starting to split them out a little bit. Banelings not really going off on almost nothing. That rain's got to come down soon on top of something, though. Goes on top of the Colossus. Hey, it takes out the Colossus. Makes way for the Lynx. Is on top of the sentries. Stalkers blink back and abandon those sentries pretty quick.
Oh, man. He must have thought those Archons were real.
Oh, man.
Now there's one real Archon.
Yeah, now there is, like, way later. Stalkers on top of the Overlords. He drops some feelings on top of the Stalkers. That did not go too well for TargA, but weirdly enough, the resources lost heavily in the favor of Harstem, but not from that engagement, from pretty much everything leading up to it. So, I mean, TargA didn't really get the worst engagement there, but it is going to be hard to break Harstem. He's down in supply. Lings are not the most effective units in the world. If the Archon and the Colossus isn't there, the Lings beat the Stalkers, just straight up. But it's near the Sim City, and it's near the third base. I think TargA's has got to go through the natural. He's got to go through the main. I don't think he takes a head-on engagement properly.
Yeah. You can only have 2 or maybe 3 good fights with these Baneling drops, and then it really just, like... It's like doing Roach Baneling in ZVZ, right? It just is not going to work after a while. They're going to get the higher tech, they're going to get Archons, and they're going to be able to, A, soak up that damage from the Banelings, and still, like, live and be effective against those Lings. Like, Archons are really good for this. But they're also going to be able to hit those clumped-up Overlords, and that's why TargA didn't take, I think, as good of an engagement as we were both expecting. Like, Harstem was, like, packed in there, except for, like, 5 units.
Oh, here we go for the
one
mineral
fake Colossus.
Oh,
okay,
fake drop? Into a real drop like this?
He didn't even get it. Anyways.
It's like 5
But,
kills.
like, he decided to go for the 5 units that weren't clumped up that much because he was afraid of the Archons were going to kill all of his Overlords. And now, since they're real, they probably will.
You know what's so bad about this, though, is... TargA's got a lot of really nice potential for damage. Like, Banelings, it's the same concept that we see versus Roach in ZVZ. Okay, they don't have the bonus damage, but they have the splash damage. And if they can connect, they'll be alright. But that's a pretty big if. And with so many Stalkers to focus fire this down, I mean, TargA is just going to have a hell of a time getting any of these Overlords on top of it without losing all the Banelings in the first place. So, I mean, there's no fake Overlords in this. There's no decoy Overlords to soak the Stalker shots. He's straight up going to lose several Banelings before he even gets to engage.
Mm-hmm. The Colossus, like I said, they do go down fast, but if any survive, then they're absolutely critical against the mass Ling flood that follows. Archons are really just like, they have everything that sounds right. They soak up a lot of Banelings, they kill Overlords, and they kill Lings very effectively as well.
Look right there. That's the Banelings. This reminds me of the most recent Carbot cartoon where they just start pooping and the Overlords like pooping out on top of the units caught within this. But okay. A little bit scared to engage, but the Archons are going down. Taking that splash damage.
Like half of the Banelings, so the rest can be dealt with splits.
Where is he going with the Banelings? I don't even... Runs the Colossus into more Banelings. Certainly going to not focus it down. Colossus 1 health. Really going to live? Oh, that's... I got to say that. That's got to be game, right? TargA with the smiley face. TargA with the cool tactics. Good game. Well played. Good luck. And TargA will finish last in the group, but he will still get $50 for